I'm Toi Derricotte. I'm a poet and very happy to be here and talk a little bit about my process of writing and what I'm doing sheltering in place. So happens that I was in New Orleans, Louisiana, my beloved heart home, I would say. My family, my mother grew up in Louisiana. My grandparents. So for generations, I bring this kind of background into my life, and I like to return here and do the winter here away from my actual home in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So I got stuck down here, and I love it. I love being here. I'm being very careful, sheltering in place, not going out, having groceries delivered. I'm 79 years old. I have to be very careful. But at the same time, I also miss the community of people that I love dearly in Pittsburgh. I miss my library, the poets that I'm able to just go to and pull out books every day and read whatever I want to read to be inspired. Miss my doctors, but poetry is really the thing that keeps me going. I'm very happy that I have my work to be connected to and the work of other writers and other poets that love me and that I love. This is the community that gives me roots and a sense of always being not alone. Nancy Kuehl asked me to talk about my writing, and I'm not somebody that gives lectures very well, but I think it'd be nice to talk about my process as I'm actually in it. So I thought maybe I'll just write every day for 3 days and take you with me on that journey as I'm writing. So this morning I got up and I wrote something, and I've already made changes to it. So I'll read it and then just talk a little bit about it. In the middle of an anxious night, I listened to Pima Chodron tell me, just look at that fearful, hated part of yourself with compassion. Be ready to open your heart and hold it. Hold the fearful, hated self with compassion. I'll be taking that out. And it gave me something to write about. I was going to be my mean self. I was going to put a pin in that hand and force myself to tell the worst secret, as if by hurting myself, like my father did, some truth would come out. As if I were whole, as if something could be confessed, a lie, a sin, a hateful desire that I would pay for and be better. I'll be working on that a bit. As if I could kill it, leave it like a cruel lover, abandon it like a child, put it down on paper and sell it. But instead, I didn't force myself to do that. I held the precious little bubble that holds me, careful as a yoke, and found myself thinking of Adrienne Rich, of how she wrote every day of her life for 8 hours, how in the later years, after diving into the wreck, she started dating her poems because she believed a poem isn't an eternal statement, but like the day itself, changes, moves ahead, as we change, standing beside what we write for an instant, as we get it down, as we're led on. So if you have the poem, the first version in front of you that I wrote this morning, you can see I'm changing it as I speak. I think one of the things that writing is always about discovery. I mean, I was thinking after I wrote this poem of something I heard many years ago. A poem, what a poem is discovered by writing it. And that's what's so wonderful, that I had in my mind during the middle of the night something that I had to write about that I didn't want to write about. And then, and in the old days, for many, many years, that's what I would have done. I would have gone for that hard poem. And there's nothing wrong with going for the hard poem, and nothing wrong with beating yourself up in your poem if you need to do that. But at my point, and we're always at the point we are now in our writing, I was able to step back and do something new. It's always doing something new. And the doing something new was to hold that moment and with compassion, and then to write about it. And this wonderful thing happened when I did that. This other thing came to me, this image of Adrian Ridge. And I think that's always the gift of the poem, this way that when we go into the mystery of the not knowing what's going to come, something comes. And that's the thing that's beyond what we can make happen. So that's what I'd like to share with you today. Thanks.